Well, hello everyone. And here we are. We have a guest today in the studio. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are our first Keeping It Real guest.
Oh my God,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah,
It's
super
it's a
excited.
it's a debut interview.
Debut
Yay.
interview, right? All right. Well, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you're here?
All right. Well, my name is Liz. I own Elizabeth Snyder Photography. I specialize in women's portraiture, which is just a fancy term to say that I'm really good at getting women comfortable in front of the camera. And I have been in business since 2012. And I am here with you guys because I am an education junkie. Um, I am here to kind of help break the cycle of me constantly thinking that the next course or the next whatever is going to solve all of my business problems. And so far, I have been extremely happy with the results.
Well, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Yeah, we call it no more courses, just results for a reason. So you are in good company as Jen and I are both also education course junkies.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so talk a little bit about, you know, obviously the idea of not looking for that next course appealed to you. Why, what are you looking to do in your business that the mastermind has helped you with?
So I'm shifting a little bit in my business. I am still running a very busy studio, which is fantastic. But my youngest is graduating high school this year, and I am going to have a whole lot of free time on my hands next year. So I'm trying to set things up to shift into doing things that are going to be a little more passive income. Also speaking. I have a book that I am almost done with, and so I'm just kind of like, I want to set everything up so that I can have success next year and really kind of hit the ground running. And so far with this course, I have learned to say no to a lot of things, prioritize, make sure my goals are measurable and not, like just this pie in the sky with no clue how to get there. So yeah, so far that has been game changing for me. And your approach to setting goals has been a lot different than other classes that I've taken too. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know that when you came in, you had to pivot pretty quickly because some deadlines got changed on you. Was there anything in the course that helped that pivot or that help you be able to see, okay, this is temporary, kind of walk us through because you had a major pivot
Yeah, I
right when
did.
you entered into joining us.
Yes, I did. I lost 6 weeks I thought I was going to have. So, yeah, the course did help me with that pivot. Absolutely. So all of a sudden I went from, just having everything kind of neatly laid out in my calendar. And there was a yearbook deadline for October 1st instead of November 15th. Uh, so I had to
Ouch.
move all of the sessions that I had in October to September. I was shooting sometimes twice a day. And then also I need to get all of those pictures to the people by the time the yearbook deadline was reached. So um, yeah, the course helped me prioritize big time with that. Knowing that, okay, here is the problem. Here's where I need to be by October 1st, and how can I line all of that up and still, sleep. I didn't sleep, but but I did manage to get everything done. And setting things up as this has to come first, this has to come second, because when everything is important, nothing's important.
Mhm.
And it just ends up going out the window for me. So that was extremely helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe you started out, it's fair to say, you started out with a plan, needed to pivot, and even when October 1st came, there were still some challenges after that deadline had passed. Can you talk a little bit about that? And
Yeah, yes, there were. So it wasn't just seniors that needed to get their pictures. It was also a couple of weddings that I shot, and a couple of branding things that I had shot that they needed their stuff too. So yes, I met that deadline, but I had to hurry up and meet my other, maybe not so hard deadlines, and just make sure that everybody was happy and they understood why I was late, and got it all done that week.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
how can you? Because some of the people in our audience are going to want to write a book, or they're in the process of writing the book. Can you help them understand how maybe our structure is helping you finish that goal, or if there's
Yeah,
anything about the book writing realm that's, kind of falling under the structure as well?
there is actually, yeah, and that again, it comes to prioritizing and uh, I'm so sorry, guys.
That's okay.
um,
We all lose our thoughts,
Yep.
especially
When a
as
new one
we get
comes
a little
in.
bit older. I feel like.
Yeah, I
um,
probably reminded her of something that she was gonna do today as she was speaking about the book, so
uh-huh,
but
uh-huh.
that's on me, that's on me.
No, no, no worries. It was goal setting and prioritizing. Those were again, I keep landing on those, and I think it's because it's so hard for me to stay organized. I do have a raging case of ADHD and get distracted by every shiny squirrel I see.
Mhm.
So it's been very hard to just put everything off. Like if I don't set up an actual deadline for myself, I'm
Mhm.
just not going to do it. I'm going to keep putting it off. So making a goal of, okay, the outline needs to be done here. If I want to launch in, let's say, November, I have to make sure that I am lined up on this week, on the next week, on the next week with each separate thing that I need to go into with the book. So like the outline is done. I have a whole bunch of notes on like all the different story structures that I'm going to be using. They're just not completely organized into the book yet. So that, but just carving out an hour a day, like both for working out because I'm not a happy person if I don't at least get my workout in, and writing. So 2 hours a day to dedicate to something that isn't necessarily money making right this second. It's hard to do because
Yeah.
you need the money, but also this is going to set up something else that's going to be even bigger and better. So, knowing that I need to take the time for it to actually happen was extremely helpful. And knowing knowing how to set a deadline, like a self deadline, was another thing that was a really good takeaway, because that is something I don't do. I just come always put it off. Yeah.
So, Liz, I'm curious, as we come to the end of the 12 weeks with this mastery circle, your book is going to take you some more time to finish. So, how do you envision using the process going forward?
It is. So yeah, I'm not organized yet, as far as like putting it all together. So using the techniques that you guys have taught us in prioritizing, in setting up measurable, achievable goals, I feel confident that I can set up these next 12 weeks for myself. And it may not even take that many, but if I'm doing a little bit every day and maybe I find more time to do it more or longer, then great. But at least I know that it's being taken care of. So I have like steps that I can take and feel confident that it is actually going to get done.
That's awesome.
So, I'm curious on, did you feel overwhelmed? Did you feel, how you start a new, I don't know about you, but every new program I start, it's like putting your feet on the ground, trying to figure out the system. It can feel a little overwhelming, but what we tried to do was scale it back and really step everyone through the. Now we've shifted some as we've gotten feedback. How has the experience been for you overall?
I mean, overall, it's been great. It was a little overwhelming at first just to figure out, spreadsheets and things
Yeah.
that I don't normally like love to do. But you guys were able to like, okay, if that doesn't work for you, try this. Or if this doesn't work, try, try this other thing. Like
Yeah.
there's always a workaround. You guys are always finding some kind of modification to what you're teaching to make it work for everybody. And as somebody who is learning, I have all kinds of stuff, but I have a learning disability as well, and I don't typically learn the same way that other people do.
Sure.
And the way that you guys were able to kind of like break all of that down and find solutions that are going to get you to the same goal has been absolutely amazing. And I don't feel like I've been overwhelmed at all since probably, I don't know, week 2 or week 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Since
it's
we
been great.
met everybody where they were, because it was a
Yeah.
little bit of a learning for us as well. It
Oh,
was like,
sure.
oh, people think different than us. Huh.
Yeah.
Amazing, right?
Well, and speaking of which, I know you're an avid bullet journaler. How have you incorporated that into the process of, keeping yourself accountable to this goal?
That's been going really well, actually. I stepped away from it a little while, probably over the summer and maybe a little before. I just stop using things sometimes. But having the bullet journal and having all of my goals set on the computer and then writing everything down that I need to do that week in the bullet journal and being able to like cross those things off. I just love the dopamine hit for, hey, I did that. Hey, I did this, you
Yeah.
know? So that is like, it's like a little reward system for me. Like that I get to check off a box, and it's stupid, but it works for me, and it makes me feel like I'm actually achieving what I need to do that day.
Yeah.
So it's fit in absolutely seamlessly with all of that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
and it's
about
not, I
the
mean,
oh,
not
go ahead.
stupid.
Yeah.
So just to like reinforce, you are using
Human.
your brain chemistry and
Mhm.
your own learning styles and what works for you to basically, get yourself where you need to be. And I think that's, like when you talked about us adapting to the needs of the group, it really is about like, okay, what is the purpose of what we're all trying to accomplish, and what's the way that's gonna resonate and stick for you? Because I am like you, like I will use a method that works for me for a while and then I'll drop it for a while and then I come back to it and I'm like, "Oh, why did I ever leave this again?" Right? So
Yep.
it's human that we kind of ebb and flow into different pieces and different phases. And so I love that you've been able to reconnect to that process and um, get a better understanding. Like, okay, like this is additive. This can actually help me fuel before my growth. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's good to know why I'm doing a thing, right?
One final question for you, Liz, before we part. I think something unique about the Mastery Circle is the community. I know you guys have really helped us develop something that works for more than just me and Jenny. You come into something with, okay, this works, and then we pivoted while you were pivoting as well. So, how has the community helped you as well stick to maybe things that you might have sloughed off, but knowing that you had the community, or, in your own words, of course?
Yeah, for sure. No, I loved having that community as a resource because everybody's questions are different because we're all coming from different, you know, jobs really. So like my job is kind of, it's local. It has to be done here. And somebody else who's like a coach is working with people all over the place. So it's not, you never know what you're going to learn from somebody else. Like, even if it is kind of the same question, it could go in the answer could be a completely different thing than you think it might be. And everybody's experience and skill sets are different. And it just kind of helps everybody come together in thinking about these solutions to problems that we have that might not have come from anybody else. So, having a group of diverse people from all over the place with all different kinds of challenges is really awesome because we can really learn from one another. And it's the different areas of expertise alone have been fantastic to learn from. I'm always super interested in how people got to where they are, doing whatever they're doing professionally, and their experiences. And we've done nothing but explore that, and it's been fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, we sure appreciate you being here and taking the time. And where are you located? If you want to share to the world in case they need to get some photography done.
For sure. I do travel, but I am located in Buffalo, New York, and I serve Buffalo, Western New York greater area.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll definitely put some of where they can connect with you
Yes.
in our post for this. And we loved having you as our first official guest on
Yeah.
Keeping It Real. And I, for one, cannot wait to read your book.
Me
Yay.
either. I can't wait to see it.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This has been fantastic. And yeah, no, I'm looking forward to finishing it, getting it over to you guys.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Have a
Bye,
great day.
everyone.
Thank you.